Manipulation Thursday, end of the day closure, another crazy day in the stock market of complete manipulation. As you can see, it closed toward the low near the 20-day moving average, which is technically okay. But what did they do yesterday? Look at that big reversal tail. Uh, the, they drove it all the way yesterday toward this technical level and then reverse it, which is a bullish signal. And I had explained on the video yesterday that I was hoping it would close a little, open positive today. And then I could get in and buy some puts to sell some calls and realize this gain had it done the way that I normally it would, technically that would be how it would be performed in the past with such a reversal candle, with so much buying and support yesterday. You can see all this buying and support yesterday. It should have opened. The data was good. There was nothing in the news. Unemployment reports, new claims was good. All the data looks good. It should have opened positive or near the flat line. So I had explained it should have opened anywhere near this level, 450, and maybe gap up or move up a little bit and then reverse and end the day where it is right now. Instead, they drove it all the way down in the pre-market. The pre-market is already at the low from yesterday. How is that possible with so less volume? How can they drive it all the way down to the low? I mean, it pretty much invalidated all this volume and buying, all this movement, all the way back to 450 was where it closed at the end of yesterday after this huge smackdown sell-off flush all the way reversal to 450, and yet in the pre-market with really shit volume, drove all the way back down, invalidated that bullish tail, what I call would be a reversal tail. Instead, it opened pretty much toward the low, rally up, and then sold off, rally up to the 100-day moving average, and then sold off. Now, yes, I could have shorted at this point, and in hindsight, yes, but when it gapped down so much, it could have easily kept rallying up. Yeah, I didn't realize it rallied that much, to be honest, because I was playing with Amazon. So what do I expect? Well, at this point, if you look at the weekly candle, let's just look at the weekly candle. What do you have? You have a capitulation top candle. And so a capitulation top candle, let's go ahead and get this guy in here. Now the tail, the wick, if you include the pre-market, went all the way up to 537. So it's a huge, huge wick. This is a big candle, capitulation top candle, right? Yeah, similar to this one, but even bigger. And why is it bigger? Because this rally has been bigger. The bigger the rally, the bigger the candle for the capitulation top. And this is a pretty classic candle for a reversal candle. Now you gotta benchmark the previous one because you got this rally. So now you got a even bigger rally. All the way up to here. That's a huge movement. And this candle is probably going to close something. The week isn't over, but let's just say it closed somewhere similar to here, maybe a little bit higher. I would assume it'll maybe rally tomorrow, so it'll have something like this with a tail, with a small tail for the weekly candle. And then what do you expect next week? Well, here's the customized pen. Yeah, here's the 5-day moving average. Okay, so 1, 2. Uh, this week would start going down, and so you got a reversal, and You see purple? Yep. So you got pretty much reversal for the moving averages on the weekly, right? You got the reversal here. I don't know about this guy, but we just pay attention to the 5-day or the 5-week moving average, and this is the 20-week moving average. And the candle will look something like, you're gonna have a tail to probably what level is that? Let's just say anywhere 440. I mean, how much can it rally? 420, somewhere up there. 4 420, 430. Yeah. I mean, uh this is a pretty big wick too toward this level. So it may rally even to 45 next week. Somewhere here. So yeah, why not 450, close to 450? So you got a tail up here and something like this, with this guy touching the 5-week moving average. So this is the play for next week. And yeah, I don't know what happened the week after that, but let's just play 1 week at a time. So that is my expectation. That is a negative bias direction. So, but yeah, the range is pretty extreme. So you gotta anticipate the range. You gotta anticipate the rally. How big is the rally? Well, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice rally. I don't know, at most 450, but I don't think it's gonna go much higher than 450. If you're lucky, it gets to 450 next week. I don't think so, but that would be the highest target on the range of a rally. Realistically, it can be anywhere from 440, 430. I mean, anywhere on this rally point, and then it will do another downturn and hit the 5-week moving average, which starts to, yeah, something like that. Yep. So that is what you expect on Tesla for next week. Tomorrow, anything goes for tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if this moves all the way down and we gap. So potentially, what happened tomorrow is a play that essentially anything can happen. Let me go back to the daily. Let me see. I mean, it looks like a technical rally tomorrow. I mean, based on all this movement, I mean, you should say, well, this gotta be a technical rally tomorrow, even though all this manipulation all the way from this top of 537, that's a huge movement. But you know what? It can go all the way to 367. I mean, this is complete manipulation all the way from 537. It sold off here, sold off here. So it can continue to sell off. I mean, the scenario for tomorrow is it's almost unpredictable, but you gonna just expect the extreme. In my opinion, you guys gotta expect the extreme. It can go any way tomorrow. So it's really mootless to. I don't think it would just shoot straight up like this tomorrow. I mean, that wouldn't make sense. Maybe in the afternoon, it will be a rally in the afternoon, but should be at best a weak gap up. Let me change it to another candle. Yellow. At best, a weak gap up. Maybe a weak rally and then some sort of sell off, or you can actually gap down and sell off, or you can actually crash and have a huge gap down and then more sell off and then a rally. So any one of these potentially can happen, right? What I don't expect is a huge gap up and I'm not expecting a huge gap up in a rally. This is definitely not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting some further weakness, whether it be a weak gap up and a push up, a weak gap down and a push down, or even a weak gap down, a push up and a push down. And then maybe in the afternoon or toward mid morning, you get the push to get some type of rally for next week. So that is my expectation. In the morning, play the downside. Should have further weakness because the VIX. If you look at the VIX, if you look at the VIX, it is looking solid now after a manipulated reversal. Look at this manipulated reversal. I mean, sold it off in the morning when everything was red and everything was weak. The VIX really, this is just unbelievable in my opinion how the VIX can get sold off when it was showing strength pretty much all week long, showing strength when the market was rallying. It was showing strength, and then all of a sudden, when the market was weak, it was showing weakness, which is not I've never seen that before. I've never seen such a steep sell-off on the VIX when everything was pretty much down in the morning. Every index was down. Of course, it was fake. Now, these manipulators, they play games where you can't even. It's almost unbelievable how they can short this and hit the bids on the short, 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 and just drive, I guess, stops to stops to stops, and all the way it stops when it hits close to the 5-day moving average, penetrate the 5-day moving average, and then you got an extreme rally, peak to peak. This is what you call one peak. In an oscillation cycle, it's just the bottom peak to the top peak. Pretty much a straight. Yeah, okay. Did hit this. I was thinking of buying him. I mean, I was just I don't know. Sometimes I get scared and not trust the obvious. I mean, this was an obvious buy when it went back to VWAP. Just an obvious buy, and I was just thinking about it at the time. There's so many times where I just miss. I mean, especially on the second candle where it's going above the VWAP. I just don't know. I mean, I just for some reason these type of maneuver where they manipulate you, they put false seeds in your head. It's like small little brainwash little plays that they do all these tricks in your head, and this rally for the whole entire market is so strong that you just don't trust your instinct. You're always second guessing. I mean, in past, this would not have showed off. There would definitely not be, it would have been a gap up and a small retracement. Classic gap up on the VIX, small retracement, then a strong rally, and maybe a sell back to VWAP, and then a strong rally. But that signature is more technical, and you can get in. This signature where they sell it off on the manipulation, a weak gap up, sell it off on the manipulation, and then this sell off. Easily they could have sold it off some more. Of course, it went technically the way it should, and at this point, you just feel like chasing. I mean, how do I guess at any point here you can get in, but you can't see the future. There's no way you can see the future, and in past it can go all the way up there, but you can't trust what happens in past. That's just, sort of guessing. So it rallied. The VIX went really strong. I mean, this is a strong green candle. So you benchmark the previous strong green candle, which is this. I mean, this closed toward the high. Was it? Yep, 42. But the next candle opened lower, I think. Let's see. Closed at 42, close to the high, and then open at 38. So immediate sell off in the VIX before gathering strength again. So potentially that can happen. Um, you know, I don't know how much they can sell off, but it's probably just a fake sell off. If there is a sell off tomorrow, I mean they can make it go to 30, below 30, whatever, and then it probably shoots back up on the sell off, on the further sell off before, I don't know, before it gets weak again. Um, that's what I would think. I mean, if I were to guess what the VIX would do based on that benchmark, it easily can gap down tomorrow. Um, I mean, at this level, further weakness, and then go all the way up, and then all the way back down, something like that. Um, so a mid-morning rally attempt on the VIX. Now, this of course would indicate a sell-off in the market. So at the mid-morning, you would have sell-off in Amazon, Tesla, Apple, etc. However, another scenario, I mean, anything can happen. It easily can be a huge gap up and just a run up, an entire market crash, right? Why would that be possible? Because they don't like to repeat what happened. This candle right here, if it opens like that, will be a repeat of this candle. It'll be so similar of a benchmark, and rarely do they benchmark the same thing. So rarely do they open, with the same signature as the previous signature on the VIX. So that's why it's could very likely be a gap up and a sell-off in the market, a mini crash. I mean, a mini crash is very possible tomorrow. I mean, if you look at this, um, this isn't much of a sell-off. I mean, this is nothing. Tesla, you know, still pretty strong overall. I mean, everything is still pretty strong. This is not much. I mean, look at Amazon. A nice little reversal tail after the 20-day moving average. After hitting the 20-day moving average, nice little reversal tail. I mean, this is a sort of bullish pattern. Obviously, I'm not expecting a rally to 3,500. I'm expecting some strength and then a further decline. If the market sell off, Amazon is going to sell off, but Amazon does show the most strengths out of Apple, Tesla, any of the high flyer, Nvidia. Amazon is showing the most strengths. So what is Apple doing? Apple, not much of a rally. Apple shows the weakest. This is the weakest signature out of all of them. Why? Because it rallied the most. I mean, how did they even manipulate a $2.2 trillion stock all the way up to this is a capitulation top candle, so to speak. If it had, I mean, it would be more classic if there was a wick, but that's okay. And this, yeah, but then you look at this and you say it's at the 20-day moving average, so it should rally tomorrow. It should, but it doesn't have to. I mean, the manipulator can crash this next down all the way to this level. Why not? If they can manipulate it all the way up to here, they can manipulate it all the way back down with the mini crash tomorrow. Anything is possible at this point. You look at the weekly. Yeah, it's at the 5-day moving average or the 5-week moving average, but this is a nice capitulation top candle. So it can close below this 5-week moving average for tomorrow or close to it, and then next week a crash or a correction, who knows? I think to me this looks like a crash is coming or a mini crash. I mean, it's not gonna crash the market. This is all fake. None of this is real. None of this rally is real. None of this sell-off is real. It's just all money in the hands of the wrong people who are making a shitload of money because they can front run it, because they know how the algorithms work, because they know how day traders are trained based on people like warrior trading, where they just chase the push, just chase it all the way to the top. No technician, I mean, likes this type of behavior, but it is what it is. Um, what is the SPY doing on the weekly? I mean, yeah, this is a capitulation top, so looks pretty weak technically. Um, Tesla, I think we already looked at Tesla. So yeah, so that's what I am expecting. So a bias tomorrow, any strength, and it can be extreme to extreme. Any strengths tomorrow can be a nice. This is yeah, 5 minute candle. Um, yeah, any strength tomorrow can be sold off, right? Um, I forget what I said here, to be honest. Oh, this is the VIX. This is not Tesla. Yeah. So you should have Tesla or Amazon, any mid-morning strength. You should expect a sell-off somewhere after an initial rally. So that's what I'm gonna play for. Now what happened today? I ended up with 924, and I couldn't. These calls, I mean, unbelievable. These calls should have been at least ended at least 1500 or at least 1000 or 1500, but the way they were doing, look at this bid and ask. I mean, the bid and ask is just huge difference. I mean, anytime you get in the market order, you're gonna be below. This is bigger than what it was this morning. I mean, look at this. Which one is this one? Like, yeah, that's what is that? Five points. So if you get a market order on this, you already 500. 500 on the negative side just from buying. I mean, unbelievable. Can't even play the options because the spread is so wide. And tomorrow I expect the spread to be wide again because I think they're expecting huge swings tomorrow, huge swing one way or the other. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the calls or the puts. So the market maker, they know these huge swings are coming. So they want the bid and ask to be wide so they can have some buffer on their options. And if you buying options or selling options or whatever, they need some buffer. So I'm gonna have to use limit order, some sort of limit order to play the options. Otherwise, you can see I was playing the stocks. I got some Nvidia and some VIX. Ended up 900. It's okay, not great. Yeah, if had I been able to play the options had the spread been better, I probably would have made a lot more money today. But I kind of abandoned it because I didn't know how to play the spread um, right now. But tomorrow I might look into just doing limit order. I mean, look at this. If you sold, I mean, I wouldn't have done it on that guy, but let's just say this one. Oops. Yeah, that's too much. 350. Yeah. Look at the 300, 330. I mean, had I sold one here, I mean, I probably wouldn't get 440, right? A bid and ask is 5 points different. So this is at 40, but really, if you hit the market order, you only get it at 36. Wow, 35, 36. I mean, but I mean, that's a huge loss just from buying on the market order. Uh, but if you do a limit order, you might be able to get it at 40. And then that rally was kind of easy to see, kind of obvious because it was getting close to an even number, like three. It's not gonna get to 3,000 or 3,300 because they want to give it some buffer. Normally, if it hits 3,300, it would overshoot. So this candle could have been overshoot of 330 or 3,300, and if it not overshoot, undershoot. Had it undershoot 3,300, it would have been a pretty nice signal. But I missed this completely. Probably could have gotten in if I seen it at the time and pay attention. I mean, this is a classic buy signature, right? Getting down to an even number like 3,300. Nice volume. Uh, and the next candle is a green reversal candle on the 5 minute. So you could have rallied all the way. So if you sold one puts, let's just say 38, 39, whatever. If you sold not puts, yeah. If you sold one puts, yeah. If you sold one puts, and covered toward the close or toward this 100-day, that's 2,000, 3,000, 2,500. I mean, I missed out on 2,500 potentially. Had I paid a little bit of attention, had they not done this bid ask spread manipulation or whatever they did with this that I wasn't anticipating, I would have probably gotten something here. Definitely would have gotten something here, and would have been a nicer day. But anyway, yeah, adjustments for tomorrow. I'm gonna have to revisit this video and make sure that I am calibrated correctly and play and not have stupid things like what happened yesterday where I got caught because I was just reacting and not being disciplined, right? Losing 1,500 on this head fake. Everything is manipulated, so this is a head fake. Lose 3,000 on the flush. I mean, you gotta have your discipline and be careful because the flush can happen tomorrow, mid morning. It can happen on the flush. So if you sell the puts, or sell the calls, or I forget which way. Yeah, if you sold the puts, you would have lost a lot if on during the flush because it's going down, and the flush then the puts would have much more value. I mean value. And then I tried to capture a reversal, and they went all the way back up. Right, I bought some puts here, lost 3,000. Had I held on to it, yeah, I would have been profitable. But come on, how can you hold on to your puts after such a rally, such a strength? I mean, it's also fake anyway. But so you gotta play manipulation Friday. Gotta assume manipulation, play the extreme, and don't get caught. Because the only time you will lose money, at least the only time I will lose money, if I get caught on these flush in the wrong direction or the push. I don't think they do a push tomorrow, not in the morning at least. There's no way they can do a push in the morning. So that's opportunity. Any rally to a technical line like 100 or VWAP tomorrow, any rally to a technical line might penetrate it a little bit because it's option expiration. It might penetrate for a head fake, and then it should fail. There is no way they can push any stock tomorrow in the morning based on what the VIX is showing. There's just not enough strength. The manipulator does not have the audacity. They will not have the audacity to manipulate a push in the morning. Now in the afternoon, yes, they can rally. They can attempt a push in the afternoon because afternoon trash is, especially option expiration, yes, they can engineer a manipulated push, and that's an opportunity to get in if you do see it. But in the morning, mid morning, I doubt it. It's more likely to gonna be a flush, or if they even have the audacity to drive it down pre-market, it might even be a crash tomorrow, a mini crash, whatever, right? If they do that tomorrow and gap this thing really down, yeah, like today where it's gapped down tremendously. I don't know how to play that. It's just when you gap down this far down, it's hard for me to play. Because I mean the pre-market they can manipulate it. So yeah. Um, hopefully it's not a huge gap down like today. Open anywhere, either a slight gap up, a neutral gap, or a small gap down. And then any small rally, I can go the opposite direction without fearing a push. And hopefully, anytime doing that mid morning, a flush or a sell off or something, and then I can make some money. So that's the play for tomorrow for Manipulation Friday.